We haven't had the opportunity to write a single line of code yet. However, I wanted to create this lecture to discuss an API that's had a bit of controversy in the Vue ecosystem. Vue 3 was recently released. With this release, they've introduced a new API called the Composition API. It's a different way of building Vue applications. The announcement had some mixed responses from the community. On one side, there was hostility and criticism. On the other side were praise and joy. Regardless of where you land on the spectrum, the API was added to Vue. It's here to stay. This course goes over both APIs. I'll discuss the differences and why you'd want to use one over the other. It's important to learn both as you may work on projects that use either one. The same goes for finding more information on how to perform a particular task. You may come across a tutorial that uses one API when you want to use the other. By knowing both, you will be able to adjust the code to the API you're using. You don't have to compromise on sticking to one API. We'll start with the Options API because it's the simplest to learn. As a beginner, you will have an easier time understanding Vue with the Options API. Once we've gone over the fundamentals, I'll introduce the Composition API. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm mentioning this now because I know some of you are already Vue developers looking to learn more about the new version of Vue. You may have heard about the new API and are curious to learn about it. If you're someone who has no experience with Vue, that's perfectly fine. The main point I'm trying to convey here is that we'll be learning how to approach Vue in two different manners. By the end of this course, you'll completely understand what I'm talking about. One important point I want to stress is that the Composition API doesn't replace the Options API. It's hard to understand until we dive into the code. But believe me, the Options API is here to stay. I wanted to get this out of the way. We'll talk more about it as the course progresses. Once you're ready, let's begin.